So recently I did a poll on YouTube asking you which one of these four designs, these four t-shirt designs that I found on Walmart that you want to learn how to design. And 56% of you wanted to learn how to do the vintage 70s design. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's go. Hey everyone, it's Juno with Detour Shirts. In this video, I want to show you how I would go about designing a t-shirt like this vintage 70s style t-shirts. I want to show you four different design elements I think that this t-shirt has, and let me show you what I mean. So here are the design elements that I'm talking about. So first, the vintage font. We need to find a font that looks like this, very vintage, and I think Kittle has that. I've seen fonts like this on Kittle. They have some cool ones. Curved text, I know Kittle can do this right here. Vintage art, I know vintage art is on Kittle. They have tons of vintage art. So the last one right here, the gradient color, you can see it goes from yellow and comes down here. It got white and yellow and pink and things like that here. So I'm going to show you a technique that you can do in Kittle to do something similar to that, but I'm also going to show you another way to do this with Photopea on there. So lots to see in this video. I want to teach you all these design elements, and that way you don't have to copy this design, but you'll learn where to find all of these things and then make your own design. That's my plan for this video. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to go into Kittle and do this design. Now you can try and do it in other applications. It's going to be really tough to do in Canva because Canva doesn't do the arc like that, like we saw, and the gradients. But you may be able to do something like this in Illustrator or Photoshop, depending on your fonts and skill level. So lots of different ways to do this, but I'm going to show you how to do it in Kittle. And I think Kittle will be great for a lot of people because you can also switch out a lot of the designs and stuff. So let's get into Kittle right now and I'll show you how to do it. All right, so here we are on Kittle, Kittle.com. You can see right there. I'm going to start a new project. Click on this right here. And it's going to ask me what the size is. Of course, we're going to do, let's do 150 here. And let's do 4,500 by 5,400. You could do 300, but it's not going to matter too much. But we're going to do this orientation and boom. Okay, so first things first, we're going to need a vintage font. So let's do T, just hit the button T, you can see it's right there, and I can scale it up like that. And by default, it's probably going to pick Roboto, but let's use Sunshade or Sundays. Both of these are really good vintage fonts that is similar, not exact, to the one that we saw, and we don't want to copy anyway, so this will do, Sunshade. I am going to copy the text just so that you can see what it is, but if you're going to do this design, don't copy this text, come up with your own words, right? So the first thing we're going to do was, we are all, you can right there, and we can make it as big as we want, which is real easy to do. Just grab these and size it. And then I'm going to hold down Option and click on this and drag by copying that. And then I'm going to say connected down here. And just that easy, we got the two fonts. So boom, step one done. Finding vintage fonts, really easy. And you can go and find more fonts if you want to go down here. There's a ton of them. I like mine just a little thicker, so this one didn't have the thickness I wanted, but again, Kittle has tons of fonts, a lot of them vintage because Kittle's known for a lot of the vintage stuff, vintage designs and things like that. So you'll find one in here. You don't have to use these. I'm just trying to match that vintage style, right? Okay, next thing to do is to give it that curve that we want. Now this is easy also to do on Kittle. You're just going to hit the distort. There's lots of other ones that you can do here. We don't want arc because we want the top part straight, right? Where arc is arcing the whole thing. So we want distort, where we can come in here and kind of just pick and move these things down. So you can see how easy that is to make it a curve, just like that. Same thing down here. If we hit distort, we just come here, drag this up, easily done. So that's how you distort the text on Kittle, super easy. Next thing we're gonna do is add the circle and some graphics. So Let's do that here. We'll go elements, and I'm gonna do just circle. And there's some down here already, badges. So maybe we'll just do that. Show all, and you can just pick the first one. You can pick any one. I couldn't find the checkerboard circle, and we don't have to copy a checkerboard circle, but this one will do. We'll make it big in the middle like this, and we can center it. And now we can kind of base our text on here. So if we pick the text here and hit edit transform, and we want it more circular, if that's a word, we can do that. We can bring it down and make it even more round by pulling these handlebars there, right? And same thing with down here. So if we want this even more to match the circle, we can pull this up and then pull this down, and maybe pull this out a little bit or bring it in. Doesn't matter. If you want to bring it in, you can too. Maybe you want the connected more like this, more in. You can definitely move it in like this, right? Whatever you want to do. There you go. And move these around, and there it is. Now you're going to get some of, because you're curving here, some of this is going to look funky, but that's okay. That's all part of it. All right, next thing we're going to do is find some flowers. So let's just type in flowers here. Now you can use any one of these flowers. I wanted to use one that I can change the color on, and that's very important. So if you use this one, you can see you can't change the color. This is like an image, so we don't want to use those. We want one where we can change the color to black and white. So let me scroll down here for a little bit. Now this one would work. That's not the one I used in my example, but we could use something like that. Boom. And if you want to flip it, this is a good one to just hit the right click on your mouse, flip horizontal, and you can kind of have like that. Isn't that cool? All right, let's see what else we could do here. I used this one, so that's the one I use, but you can do whatever one that you want in here. Just make sure that you can color it. So you can see here, I can color this one. You can see here, I can color this one. So whatever flower you choose, make sure you can color it. And then, I'm not gonna show you every step by step, but you can go in here and type in yin and yang for some of these. Right, we had that. I think world map. Right, you can click any one of these here. Peace sign. Right, so some of these are going to go inside of here like that. The next thing I want to tell you is we need to change everything to black and white. So let's do the black background first. Boom. And then let's change this to white. Oh, really white. Like that. And this one to white. And then you can change these things to black and white too. So if we're using this flower, I would change this black one to white and everything else to black. So we want to get rid of the color, and I'll show you why in a minute. And this is because the only color we're going to use is that gradient color, right? Oh, actually, sorry, I did that backwards. This should be black, and these should be white. Right, like that. And same thing with this. So leave those black and leave everything white. And so whatever one you pick, you can pick whatever whatever flower, whatever design, even this world here. So you're gonna have to make sure one is black, that's black, and this one's white, right? Oh, I guess that was green. Hold on, let's see. And lastly, this one. All right, so go ahead. We're gonna stop here. I'm gonna pick more flowers and things. Oh, and mushroom. I was gonna do a mushroom on here. So just type in mushroom. You got a ton of good mushrooms. This one's the one I want here. We're gonna put that there, and we're gonna make this black and white too by just, you know, coloring everything black and white. So go ahead, pick whatever ones you want. I'll come back and I'll show you where I am. So here's what I did so far. I have the flowers here. You can see the yin yang, the symbols that I got here. I picked some different flowers here. The mushroom I colored black and white. So everything is just black and white. So I'm gonna do a photo kind of trick here on Kittle. Kittle doesn't have a way to color everything that gradient, but they do have photos and you can overlay photos. So one thing you may not know about Kittle is you can come here to photos and type in tie-dye. Boom. And you could do any one of these tie-dyes. Let me show you what I mean. So let's pull this here. I'm gonna cover it like this. Just cover the whole thing. And then because it's white and the text is white and it's black in the background, what you can do is instead of normal, hit multiply. And you can see it gives that cool thing. It's multiplying the color on the white, so the color shows. When it multiplies on black, it doesn't show. It's still there, but it doesn't show to us because, you know, adding it to black just makes it more black. So you can also do a gradient. So let me show you how to do that. Just type in gradient here. And there's a ton of gradient photos. I mean, you probably didn't know that. So I'm gonna take this out and let's try another color like this one right here. This one's kind of cool. We're gonna have to make it bigger. And make sure it fills the whole thing. And then we're just gonna, instead of that, we're gonna do multiply. Isn't that cool? It just multiply. Oh, we didn't make it big enough. There we go. Right? And you can do this with any of the things on here. Let's do this again. Oh, go back to photos, gradient. Now try it out with any one of these colors. There's a lot of gradients. I would do the lighter ones because that would show better on a shirt. So if you want to do this one here, just fill the whole space and hit multiply. There you go. And you can kind of work these together. So if you wanted to do something like this and then flip it. So let's come here and we'll flip this one and then put it right against the other one. That could work, but sometimes there's a line, so you gotta, there you go. Isn't that cool? So whatever gradient you want here, this isn't exactly the gradient. So this isn't exactly the way we want to do it though. This is great for a poster, but when you download this as a transparent PNG, you're still gonna see the background. So it doesn't erase all the black. Let me show you what happens with a transparent PNG. All it's gonna do is remove the background, and this is what happens when you remove the background. So we'll go to layers, come down here, see the background and remove it. And this is what you would see if you did transparent PNG to remove the background. It's not gonna be anything because it doesn't work, right? So it works this way. So one thing you're gonna have to do to make that color work and have it all knocked out is to take this all into Photopea and knock out some things. But we're gonna do it different. We're gonna make this black. So the next thing I'm gonna do, let me bring myself back. So the next thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna reverse everything. I'm gonna make everything black and have the background white, and I'll show you why that's a lot easier to do in Photopea. So come back here, change the background here to something lighter, and then change everything, reverse it. So instead of white here, change it to black, and instead of this being black on white, we'll do white on black. So change whatever is black to white and whatever is white to black, right? And I'm gonna do that for the whole thing, and I'll come back and I'll show you what to do after that. All right, so I'm back. I changed everything that was black to white and white to black. So you have the black, white background and black letters now. And this is gonna make it a lot easier to download a PNG. So let me remove myself now and go back to layers. And if we remove the background, you see this will work, except for these little parts with the white, but we're gonna take care of that in Photopea. So I'm gonna put this back. I'm bring myself back, and we're gonna come out here and we're gonna download remove background and PNG. So now that we have that, let's go into Photopea and I'll show you what to do next so that we can have that color gradient that we saw in the original. So here I am on Photopea, photopea.com, and we're gonna start a new project. I'm gonna do 4500 by 5400, and this is gonna be 300 DPI, and this is gonna be transparent, and I'm gonna hit create. Now we have our artboard right here. I'm gonna pull in that PNG that I downloaded from Kittle, and you're gonna see it fits perfectly in here. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna right click on here and make sure we rasterize this. Perfect. So the next thing we're gonna do is create the gradient. So I'm gonna do another layer here, and let me move myself away so you can see how to do it. You wanna click this button right here. This is add a new layer. Boom, I'll bring myself back. And then we're gonna do a gradient. So the gradient tool is right here. We're gonna click on that. And we want a radial gradient right here. And let me show you what a radial gradient does. We're on this layer right here. And so we'll go like this. And you can see it's black here and then white here, but we can add lots of different colors. So we can come in here, click on it. Let's say we want that light color. We can go here like this, make it really light. And then the next one was, I believe, was like a white. So we can come in here and do white. If we want another color, just click on here, make that again. That, and then we want the end color to be like a light yellow, so we can come in here, be like that. So now we can play around with these by moving these around. This black box right here kind of moves. If you move it closer or further away, you can see what that does. Same thing with here. Oh, I didn't want that, so you can always delete that. And if you want the black box here, you can do it like that, and so on. All right, so now that we have the colors that we want, we can go again, hit OK, and drag again like this. You can see that's what it does. All right, so we're gonna hide that for now. We're gonna go back to this black version here. Now, there's lots of different ways to do this, but I'm gonna show you the way that I figured out how to do. If you know a different way to do it, leave that in the comments. But I'm gonna go here to select and color range, and it's gonna pick the color range that I want, all the black. So I have this all the way to the end here. I think by default it starts here, but I'm gonna bring it all the way to the end. And sampled colors, we're gonna do the black here, but it's gonna do it automatically because that's the only color I have. And I hit OK, and you can see it's only selecting the black, not the white. The white's not being selected. And so I can inverse that. So I'm gonna come in here, hit select, and then inverse. And so it's everything that's not black. I'm gonna go here to layer, turn this on, and I'm gonna delete the layer. So hit backspace, boom. And you can see that's what we want. Hit Command D and get rid of the black version here, and this is what we want. So if we have a color on the background here, let me just draw a black background. You can see this is what we end up with, which is really nice. I think it would be really good. So I'm gonna export this without this background. I'll turn that off and just this, and we're gonna hit File, Export as PNG, and then make sure it's 4500 by 5400, quality is 100%, transparent PNG. We can name this whatever we want and hit save. Now we can take this PNG and put it on places like Redbubble, Merch by Amazon, or Amazon Merch on Demand, TeePublic, and wherever. So I'm here on Amazon Merch on Demand. I just wanted to show you what it looks like on a t-shirt. So here it is. This is what it looks like on black. You can see it's all knocked out, has that color. Of course, you can change the gradient color to whatever you want. I just picked some of those lighter colors. And again, you can change the text, change the whatever you want, right? So make this your own, but this is how it would look like if you knocked it out from Photopea. So it looks great on some of these dark colors. And you could do it darker. So if you use the gradient color and made darker colors, it may look better on white, but you can see it doesn't look great on white because of the colors we chose. But you could make it look good on white if you chose darker colors. So that's it. That's how you do it. So you can do all of this online if you have Kittle and Photopea. So that's how you do the vintage 70s design. At least that's how I would do the vintage 70s design that I found on Walmart. Hopefully this was really helpful for you. You can, again, switch out the words, switch out the titles, and you can make a bunch of these on Kittle and Photopea by knocking out the background. So hopefully this was really helpful for you. Thanks again for watching. If you want to see more Kittle stuff, I have this Kittle playlist right here with all the different things that you can do on Kittle. I'll keep adding more and more to that playlist, but there's a lot there that you can learn how to design t-shirts. Thanks again for watching, and as always guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one.